Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. With Naked and Afraid Last One Standing Season 2 Episode 9 right around the corner, I thought this would be the perfect time to share my thoughts on the upcoming episode, because it seems like the show might take a slight pivot from what I predicted in my Episode 8 review. Towards the end of Episode 8, we as the viewing audience learn that the survivalists must use their shovels to dig in their upcoming challenge, and we're led to believe that the winner of the challenge will have some form of control of the challenge going forward. Now, I wasn't too thrilled that Episode 8 ended before we could learn whether this challenge will be an elimination challenge, but thanks to my cable provider, I have a better understanding of what will happen in Episode 9. And with that understanding, I can share my predictions for how this changes things for the show going forward. According to the Episode 9 summary, temperatures rise during a challenge where survivalists must dig seep wells and boil water primitively. The loser forfeits their hard-earned items to the winner. Kai's allegiances are tested. A shocking big game kill tips the balance of power. So right off the bat, I immediately noticed that one thing that is missing from the summary is any mention of a survivalist being eliminated or med-tapped. And I think that this is important because in all other episode summaries for the season, it specifically states whether a survivalist will be eliminated or med-tapped during a particular episode. And if Episode 9 ends with 0 eliminations, then this will make things interesting for the season finale. I believe that there are 3 plausible scenarios for what might happen in Episode 10. Scenario number 1, all the 6 remaining survivalists will compete in one elimination challenge, similar to the last group challenge in Season 1, and the top 2 or 3 survivalists will proceed to the finale. Scenario number 2, there might be a series of elimination challenges in Episode 10, which ultimately lead us to see who will face off in the final 2. In scenario number 3, the show might make the finale a free-for-all war of attrition, where the remaining survivalists have to compete in a grueling multi-day test of navigation, bushcrafting, and primitive survival skills, and the survivalist who finishes the first wins. I'm inclined to believe that the first option is the most realistic and makes the most sense, but I wouldn't mind seeing the other 2 scenarios unfold either. But with that being said, here are my predictions on everything else that might happen in Episode 9. In my opinion, Dan, Gary, and Kai have the best chances of digging their seep well and getting their primitive fire started the fastest, while Jeff, Patrick, and Fernando have the worst chances of completing the challenge the fastest. Although Fernando has an advantage with his shovel being the best shovel in the challenge, I think that building the primitive fire will ultimately do Fernando in, and Fernando isn't always the best when it comes to completing challenges while under pressure. Because of this, I think that Fernando has the highest chances of losing. I think that there's a possibility that Jeff could lose the challenge solely because he's using his axe as a shovel. But if Jeff or Fernando lose the challenge, then their salt and survival items will go to the winner. Because the episode summary mentions Kai allegiance will be tested, it makes me wonder if Kai or Gary win the challenge. If Patrick or Dan won the challenge, then Kai's allegiance really wouldn't be tested unless she wants to break away from Dan and Patrick due to how they choose to play the game. But I think that Kai will align herself with Dan and Patrick until moving on increases her chances of making it to the finale. So if Gary wins and Jeff loses, I can see Gary being lenient with Jeff and allowing Jeff to keep the bow and arrow. But I can't see Gary being lenient with anybody else if they lose, and this might cause Kai to jump ship. I think that Dan has a slight chance of winning the challenge, but if he does, he and Patrick might become more annoying to everybody else, and this also may cause Kai to rethink who she pairs with. So many scenarios, but given the track record, Gary and Kai have been doing excellent when it comes to these challenges, and I will put my money on one of them winning this challenge. Now for the last part of the summary, it says that a shocking big game kill tips the balance of power. As of right now, Dan's alliance holds the most power amongst the remaining survivalists, and even if Gary, Fernando, or Jeff won the Seepwell challenge, these 3 survivalists aren't in an official alliance, and them winning the survival items of Dan, Kai, or Patrick won't necessarily tip the balance of power. However, if somebody like Gary or even Jeff scored a big game kill, then the balance of power would be tipped, and I doubt that they would share any of their food with Dan's alliance. I think it's worth mentioning that Jeff getting the big game kill has been foreshadowed for quite some time. And if Jeff or Gary get the big game kill, they could use the leverage to make a deal with Kai, and this might go against the alliance that she has with Dan and Patrick. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to watching Episode 9. I'm sure many of you will be doing the same. But let me know what you all think about these predictions, and feel free to share some predictions of your own in the comment section. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.